Live from the SABC's Auckland Park studios, welcome to this evening's episode of The Watchdog. My name is Vuyo Mvogo. On the show tonight,
they have taken a pledge to end corruption, to end fraud and patronage, no matter what form it takes and no matter who is involved.
People pour cold water over last night's ANC councillors' public pledge. Our panelists offer their considered opinions. And while service delivery, financial management, fighting corruption are the preoccupation of many leaders and their parties, a few leaders, notably Herman Mashaba and Gayton McKenzie, aren't leaving out the issue of migration. They state their cases and our panel of experts weigh in. All that in tonight's installment of The Watchdog, which starts right now. Let me introduce you to the panel. Gayton McKenzie is the leader of the Patriotic Alliance. Lerato Ngobeni speaks for Action SA, standing in for Herman Mashaba. Advocate Sam Mwofe is an independent practicing advocate dabbling in immigration issues. And Jessica Lawrence heads the Johannesburg Clinic of the Lawyers for Human Rights. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on. I'm going to start with you, Lerato. One couldn't help but notice today where your leader spoke that the rhetoric was toned down a bit. Let's take a listen to what Herman Mashaba had to say today while he was electioneering.
We will be addressing illegal immigration through intergovernmental relations, working actively with the Department of Home Affairs, National Treasury and other relevant government entities to ensure that it is easier for foreign nationals to enter our country legally or get protected when necessary. Where the national government fails to deal with undocumented foreign nationals, we will lobby for additional grant funding and the delegation of powers to our municipalities so that we can do the work ourselves.
Lerato, have you somewhat tempered with how you've approached this issue before?
Good evening to Watchdog viewers, to you, Vuyo, and to the rest of my fellow panelists. I don't know if you can hear me clearly. I hear an echo on my side, but I will carry on and hope that we are proceeding swiftly. No, we have not tampered with it. Our stance has not changed since this issue was brought to light. If the public will remember, Mr. Mashaba uttered these words about illegal immigration around the 1st of December during his 100 days as mayor of the city of Johannesburg in December of 2016. And as soon as, he mentioned the issue of the problems that the city was facing with regards to illegal immigration, soon the xenophobic brigade came in and labeled him xenophobic. And so from where we stand, ours is a very humanitarian stance around immigration, particularly illegal immigration. What we want to see is an inflow of people who come to the country for various reasons. One, they come to the country because they are coming here for leisure. They are coming here, for schooling. We know that South Africa boasts one of the best universities on the continent. And so a lot of students come to South Africa to study. And then you've got a lot of people who come to South Africa for business. And then, of course, you've got experts who come here to bring their skills into the country. Those are the people who want into the country, and also those who are seeking asylum, who are refugees because their countries, may not be offering them or the kinds of services that they require or that they're in danger for their lives. South Africa has got, a refugee a policy which people can apply for refugee status to be able to be in the country.
Okay.
What we are against are people who come into the country illegally, who cross borders through rivers, through under the fence, and also to pay off officials at the border and come into the country and they're unaccounted for, they do not have papers,
Okay.
or they overstay in the country. Those are the people that we are targeting, and not necessarily migrants in general.
Gayton McKenzie, here's what you said on the occasion of your manifesto launch.
When the plea takes over at 9 o'clock, I don't care if you are Chinese, if you are Somalian, if you are Serbian, if you are coming from Angola, if you are coming from Mozambique, you are going home with immediate effect. You are going home. You are going home. You are going home. You are going home. When you are a legal foreigner, you must also come with a special skill here. You can't be legal and come and become a teacher here. We have enough teachers. You can't come here and be a nurse. We have enough nurses here. When you come here, you must come as a legal foreigner and work a skill that we don't possess here in South Africa.
And you maintain that stance.
Thank you so much, Vuyo, and to your listeners, thanks for having me. I maintain that stance as the PA. We maintain that stance 100%. They must go home. We are not changing anything. We don't need to explain. Lerato is saying a different thing than what the leader said this afternoon. I also listened to him. The PA is not changing. When we take over at 9 o'clock, they will be going home. We will be arresting them. We will be arresting them left, right, and center. The only thing we would like to add, we took a decision as the leadership of the PA that we shall start by the hospitals. We shall take the ones sick or half sick. We are taking you, we are deporting you, we are taking you out of this country, because you cannot have a South African that cannot access a bed while a foreigner is chilling in hospital. They must go to Zimbabwe, they must go to China, they must go to where they're coming from. We are not changing anything, Vuyo. We are still standing there. We are going to deal with illegal foreigners very harshly.
Advocate Mofa, someone who, you were, at the time you took over as the head of the domestic arm of our intelligence services, you lamented the fact that our borders were porous, but you are not holding the foreigners, Gayton McKenzie calls them, responsible for that.
Good evening, viewer and the viewers. Well, it's true. I'm now retired. I'm a practicing advocate now. My concern really is that this period is reserved for local government elections. And I'm not here to counter what
the political parties have to say.
The political parties are saying. I'm not there. I don't have that brief. I am here to try and explain that it is important for us as South Africans and political parties to understand the difference between national government elections and local government elections. Because conflating the two would not help us, nor will it help the people they are trying to basically canvass that they vote for them. So I'm basically here to say, I think it would be advisable for political parties to understand that distinction, that the local government elections have, in terms of our constitution, issues that political parties or independents, whoever you want to call them, must address when campaigning, so that voters can get to understand what is it that they're going to get. And I'll give an example that there's no local sphere of government which has the powers to deport anybody. You have to understand the DNA of our government, for example. So you may bring this now, whereas in fact you should have brought it perhaps in 2019 when we had the national government elections, because immigration basically vests with Minister Aaron Motsoaledi. And that Department of Home Affairs has got no core competencies, even with provincial government. It is the national government. Intergovernmental relations, it's important to have those. We have to work in that manner. But there isn't any point now to tell people that come the 2nd of November, there will be no undocumented foreigners in our country, because it is not the preserve of local government. There are so many legal instruments that you've got to go through before you can even go to that stage. Now, I must be honest, I'm not saying I'm countering what political leaders are saying. I'm basically saying, for the purpose of November 1, we as people who are going to be voting, we want to understand what Party A is going to do for us insofar as local issues are concerned. We want to understand how and when is Party A, if it wins the election, is it going to resolve the potholes? How
the
and
water,
when?
The electricity.
Water, electricity.
Corruption.
And corruption. You see, so if you say now as a political party, and I see posters as I drive around, I've seen one where it says, no, we are going to ensure that your rights to choose is not tampered with. It's enforced. There's no political party which has the power to ensure that right. And I'm saying that because
that's as part of a conversation we're having here on the program last night. Jessica Lawrence, I'm keen to know what your thoughts were as you were listening to the two political parties. What they had to say on this issue.
Thank you, and good evening to you and to your listeners. We often hear anti-immigrant statements being made by politicians, particularly at times where there are elections, and these statements are often not based on facts and can also be blatant lies. And these statements are usually made in order to attract votes from voters. And in a society where there is frequent attacks against foreign nationals, and there is increased violence and xenophobic flare-ups, statements where foreign nationals are othered and where politicians scapegoat foreign nationals for the ills of society, it is irresponsible of politicians to blame problems that South Africa has on foreign nationals. South Africa is one of the most unequal countries in the world, and we know that this is based on our colonial history and our apartheid past, as well as the failures of the post-1994 government. And as the former panelist just mentioned, now politicians do not focus on that, but rather blame societal issues on foreign nationals. And we would encourage voters to make informed decisions and look at the policies of each political party and understand what these parties will be doing to address issues of unemployment, access to socioeconomic rights and services. I would like to emphasize that often these statements against foreign nationals, which blame them for South Africa's problems, are not based on fact. And if we actually want to look at the root of the problems, we will see that they're actually due to government failure and not due to the presence of foreign nationals in South Africa. I also just want to mention that undocumented migrants do not choose to be undocumented. They are often rendered undocumented because of systemic failures within our immigration and refugee system. Rather than getting rid of those that are undocumented, we should be looking to improve our systems within the Immigration Act and the Refugees Act in order to ensure that persons are able to access regular documentation. And lastly, I also just want to say that separating migrants from those who are skilled is rooted in racist, classist, and white supremacist ideals, and that is contrary to our Constitution and the values which really uphold our entire society.
Lerato, as Advocate Morphe just said, I mean, the local government sphere doesn't deal with these sorts of issues that you are raising. And as Jessica, I mean, has just said, the migrants are not responsible for being here illegally, many of them, or it is because of the failure of our own government systems that such the law is being broken, and a lot of people are here illegally.
Yes, and I want to agree with Jessica in part. Because every time we have spoken on this issue, we've always put it, even if you look at our statement today, we put it squarely at the incompetence of the current ruling party for being unable and having failed in dealing with the immigration issues, and particularly illegal immigration issues in our country. Where I disagree with Jessica is the idea, when she talks about race and racism as if it is something that, affects a certain part of our community. The reality is that illegal immigration, particularly in our country, affects, by and large, the Black majority in our country. If you look at the people who are now currently owning and running spaza shops, are people who do not come from those communities. When some of us were growing up, there was Nateli Tiba and them who were owning those spaza shops. And so we're not putting the issue squarely on the migrants or on the immigrants who are here. We are placing it squarely on the deficiencies in the governing system with regards to this issue. And so, to put it on political parties, I mean, right now, the conversation we're having is on illegal immigration. And while our Leonard friend in studio can talk about the fact that, right now we need to be talking about toilets and our ability to deliver water to the communities, that is all wrapped up in all of our manifestos and what is first port of call in what we're
what's
trying
the
to
point
do.
then?
The conversation this evening is about illegal immigration, and that's why we are here.
Well, if you took over...
The project for 2024... No, wait. The project for 2024 is in progress as we speak now. And so the idea of illegal immigration is an issue. And our ability to renew the inner cities is not something that was waiting for Mashaba, for example, or for the DA to rule in 2024. It was happening in 2016, when even Mashaba under the DA was trying to do the same to renew the inner city of Johannesburg. And so the conversation is not completely misplaced at all.
Okay, Gayton McKenzie, you feel the same way, that this conversation is not misplaced, even though, local government has really nothing to do with, the issues that are, everything that is actually responsible for the situation we're seeing in the cities?
All right, thank you for your. Let me deal with this thing. You see, number one, the problem here, and you can see how the problem has been going on and on, because people are trying to intellectualize a problem that just needs you to be pragmatic. Number one, let me answer the issue where the gentleman is saying, Advocate Sam is saying that this is not a local government issue. Number one, and he's also saying that local government has no power when it comes to this type of matters. Let's deal with the first one before I come to Jessica. Number one, if you're saying to me that people not having jobs, people's jobs being taken by illegal foreigners, it's not a local government issue. You're saying to me that people not being able to access houses because houses have been accessed by illegal foreigners, it's not a local government issue. All those things are local government competencies. This is exactly why, you see, we must not mistake how the ANC has been doing stuff and has been operating local government as the yardstick of how local government should be operating. No municipality is really working in this country because how the ANC has been operating it. So let me go to his second point where he says we have got no powers. Let me tell you the two powers that we have and that we're going to use to maximum effect. Let's not be intellectual here. Number one, we have the power to arrest illegal foreigners with our metro police. That's a local competency. A local government competency is the metro police. We are going to arrest them. If they have to, the jails are full, they have to. The law states once you are arrested for being an illegal foreigner, you have to be deported. So that's what's going to happen. Secondly, we're going to pass a bylaw to say that local businesses that hires illegal foreigners, they will be dealt with. So those are local government issues. You can try to be all intellectual, and then I want to go to Jessica. You see, when people speak about human rights, they exclude black people, they exclude colored people, they exclude Indian people, they exclude the people that are at the brunt of these foreigners coming here. You can't tell me about human rights issue when a person in Soweto cannot access the hospital because there are illegal foreigners chilling in hospital being sick. You cannot tell me that illegal foreigners are not part of the problem. It's government. Did government hijack 500 buildings in the city of Johannesburg? Did government taken over the prostitution ring? Did government take over the tax shops? We can't blame everything on government. It is these illegal foreigners. We will take them. I am saying we will arrest them from the morning. We will not change our stance because people want to intellectualize the problem. There's a problem if you are on the ground. Like we are on the ground as the Patriotic Alliance. These foreigners are seeing us for nothing. They have taken Hillbrow, they have taken Sunnyside, they have taken cities in our city. So I am saying in conclusion, do not tell me, how local government works. I cannot be taught those things that I know. Local government is got a metro police. A metro police must arrest them, and we are going to arrest them. The foreigners can go. The reason why people like Jessica are standing up for these illegal foreigners, let me tell you why. Because what few people don't want to admit in this country is that if the illegal foreigners go, the property market owned by the white people is also going. They are cheap labor for white people. They don't need to pay tax. They don't need to pay UIF. They can pay them slave wages. They are not unionized. They are going under the PA, and nobody is going to stop us because we will be kingmaker in most municipalities.
Okay, Advocate, you have to go. I'm going to allow you to make your closing comments on the issues that anyone would have raised.
Yeah, as I say, I'm an ordinary citizen. I'm not a politician. I'm sure they're gunning for votes, Gayton and them. I'm basically talking about the law. And I'm not intellectualizing. I'm just talking about what is practically possible. And I'm basically saying, as a voter, I want to hear what my ward councillor is going to do for me, or whoever I vote for, what is that person going to do for me this time? Because on the 1st of November, we are voting for local government issues. We should be educating our people. There's no point saying, you've got a ward councillor today, and you don't know tomorrow what is that ward councillor doing. There are issues of it is so involved. A lot of education, I think we have to educate our people, probably even our political parties, so that they get to understand that when it is time for local government elections, let us focus squarely on local government issues. We've got more problems now, localized problems, as we said earlier, provision of electricity, water. 10 suburbs in south of Johannesburg didn't have electricity in the past 2 days or so. These are the things we want to hear from, politicians, It does not do me any good when I see a poster which says, no, will protect your right to choose, to vaccinate or not. It has got nothing to do with local government. The right to choose is entrenched in the Constitution.
Can I ask you one question?
It's very difficult to listen to the advocate, to be quite honest.
Can we let him finish? You'll come in a second.
The right to choose. It's not the right to. It's not something which any political party can give me. It is entrenched in the Constitution. It is my right to choose. If I decide that I want to have 10 children, for example, no one can tell me that I cannot. It's my right. You see, I'm just saying.
One second, Kate.
I'm just saying, it would do political parties much good to talk about issues we want, burning issues. Issues of local clinics, public libraries. These are issues we want to know. That how are we going to access them?
Lerato, you want to chip in? Yes, come in. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question for Rafem.
Yes.
My question to Advocate Sam is that we as the PA, and I'm sure XNSA also, we exist for our members, for what is bothering our members. Me and you, Advocate Sam, we don't compete with illegal foreigners at public hospitals. We both got medical aid. Me and you are not competing with jobs with illegal foreigners. So I'm not even representing you. I'm talking for my people in El Dorado Park, my people in Katanga. I'm talking about my people in Kalicha that I represent. They deal with issues. We are not here to come and help you upper middle class people about libraries. We are not here for libraries. We are here for our people because our people must go to hospital and the line is long. Our people, you talk about electricity. Do you know that illegal Zimbabweans are stealing the cell phone tower batteries and they're stealing it daily? Do you know that they are stealing power in Soweto, and they're stealing the cables, they're stealing our rail? You tell me about libraries. You must go to parties. The PA is not here for the libraries now. We are here. So don't school us. You are saying, one moment you say you are ordinary, just an ordinary member, but now ordinary member want to school us on national TV. We can't be schooled by you of what we should be speaking about. You cannot school us. Rather not vote for us, but don't come here and say, no, we don't know what we are doing. Answer me one question. I've got one question for you. Yeah. Tell me, is it not the law, what I am saying, that in any other country in the world, all illegal foreigners get arrested? Is that not law? You keep on saying the Constitution, as if the Constitution says those people cannot be arrested. Answer this question simply. Okay. What is the law saying what should happen to illegal foreigners in a country? Okay. What is the law saying, or the Constitution?
Okay. Yeah. Well, Gayton, well, just for the record, I was born in Soweto. I grew up next to Eldos. I know the issues. I've got relatives still at home there. Even today, I was at home in Shawela, and the clinic is just around there. I started schooling in Soweto up until matric. When I was at school, the closest library from Shawela was at Rockville. And I'm sure you know how far Rockville is from Shawela. So the issue of a library, it's not an elitist issue. Everybody must go to school. And we must fight for libraries at our localities, for example. So I'm not really coming up with elitist issues, Gayton. We are neighbors if you come from El Dorado Park. Grew up in the township as well. So I understand issues much more. The same, probably was same age group. So you and I understand the issues in the township, especially.
Lerato, in order to come in quickly before
answer my question.
Advocate.
Yeah. Vuyo, can you answer my question?
Vuyo, no, Gayton, you're going to have to wait. Okay. No, Vuyo, you're going to have to wait because Vuyo...
No, I've got to give Lerato a chance. I've got to give Lerato a chance.
This is the problem with testosterone, right? Jessica and I are like silently waiting in the background because there's a bravado that's coming through. There's two things, and I heard Gayton, talk about the fact that, Action SA may agree. There are two things we don't agree on. Number one, we don't agree on when Gayton says we are here for our members. We as Action SA are not just here for our members. We are here for all the citizens of Johannesburg and all the municipalities in which we are contesting, and all of the citizens of South Africa when we get to go to 2024. So we're not just talking about our members, because this issue and service delivery affects everybody, whether people vote for you or they don't vote for you. It affects all of them. And so that's where we don't agree. And secondly, I don't agree with the advocate when he wants to separate illegal immigration from service delivery in communities. It is disingenuous to think that those two things are mutually exclusive and that political parties should not address them. And then thirdly, for the difference, people can be sitting here and asking themselves, what exactly is the difference between Action SA and the Patriotic Alliance? And the reality is this. No. The reality is this. I don't know when Gayton did the turnabout on this, and his party did this turnabout on illegal immigration. When we raise this issue, and actually they're raising it exactly in the same way that we've been raising these issues since the 1st of December in 2016. And he knows very well, Gayton, that, when they went to council, Gayton and his party were on the part of the ANC and them talking about the fact that, we were being xenophobic, or that Mr. Mashaba was being xenophobic.
Now you're lying.
And so I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. What I was trying to do.
Okay, let Lerato finish.
I gave you a chance to speak, but Gayton, you've got to be respectful. You were given a chance to speak.
You can't lie.
I'm speaking now. But I'm speaking now.
Okay.
But I'm speaking now. You'll have a chance to defend yourself. I am speaking now. Don't be emotional. I'm speaking now.
Sure.
Right? So the bottom line is this. The issue of illegal immigration is a serious one. And what we are dealing with right now is it is the humanitarian issue, as Jessica was pointing out, because we want to be able to track where people are. We want to be able to protect them, because when they are in the country illegally and they're not here on a legal basis, we're not able to track them. We don't know where they are. We can't protect them when they're being exploited. And so we need to be able to get a handle on it. And when the advocate talks about the fact that this is not a competency of the municipalities, well, we are talking about the fact that we've got to collaborate with the powers that be in the space so that we are able to alleviate that problem. When you go to the city center in Johannesburg, nobody can deny, no South African can deny, that we've got a very serious problem there. We've got a very serious problem in Sunnyside in Pretoria. We've got a very serious problem in Kempton Park, downtown in Ekurhuleni, as well as we do in Johannesburg. So these issues cannot be mutually exclusive. And as much as I agree in part with the advocate, I disagree with him on the side of the fact that, illegal immigration does not affect a local government.
Jessica, election November 1 is going to come and go, and this issue is going to still stay with us, whether Advocate Mofa is right in saying, it is a competency of other spheres of government, or whether, Gayton McKenzie thinks that, they can deal with it if they were to take over after November 1. The issue is still going to remain with us. How do we best deal with this issue?
We need to scrutinize what politicians are saying, and I think Dayton's submissions is reflective of how harmful these statements can be and how often these statements are not based on any fact. I'd be very interested to see his statistics, which shows that crime is being committed by the majority illegal immigrants or foreign nationals. I'd be interested to see what research and statistics he is relying on when he says our hospitals are overrun. I'd be interested to see what he is referring to when he speaks of housing policies. There are no statistics to show that the majority of the crimes, or that a large amount of crimes, are being committed by non-nationals or illegal immigrants. Further, non-nationals are not entitled to access any housing in terms of any state policies. It is only permanent residents who can usually only access or purchase houses, and that is through a bond application through the banks. So foreign nationals are largely excluded from any form of housing policy. Further, non-nationals have to pay private hospital fees at hospitals. Therefore, the fees that they access, they pay for. And when we are talking about these types of problems within the system, we should be talking about, if there is an issue of crime, we need to talk about policing and improved policing. If there is difficulty in accessing healthcare, we need to speak about how do we improve access to healthcare. We need to discuss the corruption within the healthcare sector and why the funds which are supposed to be allocated to public hospitals are being mismanaged and stolen.
Okay.
This is what we need to be focusing on, and it's harmful to rely on false facts when trying to gain votes from voters.
Okay, Advocate Mofe, I know I'm supposed to have released you a long time ago. Can I give you time to make closing remarks, or I can release you before I continue?
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Vio. I think colleagues will remain talking about, politics. I was basically saying that it is important to address local government election issues. Let us understand what are they going to provide for us as citizens, the services that we need there. And just to respond to Gayton, illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants and any other criminal in South Africa, they get arrested as well. And they get arrested by SABC, and they are taken to Lindela, and Home Affairs takes over. There is no local government sphere which will do that except that part. So, it's important for political parties to also read. If you go to the website of the Department of Home Affairs, you'll now know that there is an agency called Border Management Agency set up, which is basically beginning to operate now. So the purpose of trying to manage, not only, and people, when we talk of undocumented foreigners, people believe that we're talking about black people also. Even white people are here. There are many of them who are here who are not documented. That the Border Management Agency, is an effort to try and address those things. So it's not as if we're saying these things are being swept under the carpet. All I am saying, Gayton and my sister, is that we've got local government elections. I'm going to be more likely convinced by an independent or a political party which will address issues facing me, that I am tired of load shedding, for example. I am tired of, potholes on the road. Yes, and it's true. I want to see Metropolis doing their job. Making sure that they control traffic and they keep us safe on the road. That's what I want to see. But to be talking about issues like is that my sister Jessica there, the issues that Jessica is raising are important, but this is not the correct platform, because the Minister of Health or the MEC of Health is not here, nor is the Minister of Police. These are issues which must be discussed at a different forum. So perhaps it's important that as we are marching towards the first, try and make sure, Gayton, that you can appeal to me so that I must be convinced. But if you believe that you're only talking to your own members, I don't think that will be the best way of doing things. I'm just giving this brotherly advice. You must talk to everybody there. And lastly, Vuyo, I think it's important for South Africans. We fought very hard for this democracy. It's important for all of us to go and vote on the 1st of November. Many people are sort of disgruntled, we're not going to vote, I'm not going to do this thing. Think about the fact that if you decide not to vote, your right to have access to clean water or even a tarred road, you need to make sure that you enforce it on that day, on the 1st. And after the 1st, Gayton and my colleagues, you've got to support your ward councillors, participate in ward committees as well, so that you hold the ward councillors and the ward committees to account. There's just no point talking above critical issues which affect people on the ground, whether in the suburbs or Ekasi, Gayton. The issues are the same. There are potholes to Eldos and here as well. Address us on those things. I would like to thank you.
Thank you, Advocate. And you are indeed released. But we'll continue with this conversation with the other panelists. Gayton, are you taking the brotherly advice?
No, I'm not taking the brotherly advice from Advocate Sam. Let me elaborate why. You see, political parties have target groups and focus groups where they say, this is my constituency. Our constituency are the people that want illegal foreigners gone. People that don't share that view should not vote for the PA, because we are going to do that exactly. We don't want to do false marketing. So, Brasem, thank you for the advice. I respect you a lot, and I know you are a Nachrotman, but I will not take your advice. A library is not in the picking of the importance of the things we need to address on that faces our people. Libraries are not one of them. Our children are being killed daily in Cape Town, in PE, in Wentworth. So for us, those are the issues that is more important than the library at the moment. Then, but thank you for the advice, Prasem. Then I want to come to Lerato, to the lady of Action SA, sorry.
It's Lerato,
yes.
Yes, I said, I wanted to say Ms. Lerato, so I felt a bit that I said to you Lerato. I want to come to Ms. Lerato. You know, she's right when she says we are not the same as Action SA. They tried to be the same as us. That's why they took our color. That's why they took our logo. We had to take them to court. We had to take them to the IEC. And then they had to change their logo, because the logo was similar to our logo. So she would not know. So next time, Vuyo, with these issues, you must send the big bosses to come and talk, because Lerato is now taking like I'm lying. We have taken you to the IEC because your logo was identical like our logo. Then you changed your logo to this logo because we were lawyering up. Now your color is the same as our color, and we are 7 years older than you. So you are trying to copy us, but let me go to the facts. Mashaba has been the mayor for 3.5 years in the city of Joburg. In the 3.5 years, squatter camps with foreigners went up around this country, around the city. There was when he took over, there was 256 buildings that were hijacked. By the time he left, there were 500 buildings that are still hijacked. Now, you see, one thing I can tell you about Mr. Malema, he's very clear on where he stands when it comes to illegal foreigners. He does not see them as illegal, and I respect that. And during Mashaba and Malema's term as coalition partners, you must not talk like being a coalition partner of the ANC is a crime. During the term of Mashaba and EFF, never has your president dared say anything, because the EFF would never allow anybody to speak ill of illegal foreigners. Now, all of a sudden, you're trying to be kings of spokesperson. You said nothing. I was there. You said nothing, because EFF is very clear when it comes to the stance on foreigners. And the DA said it, and Mr. Malema said it last week, that the DA said that Mashaba was controlled by EFF, and Malema confirmed that yes, we were the bosses. He did say it publicly. Then the last question I have for you. is we don't want to be false with people. We want to be honest and say, don't vote for us if you are feeling sorry for illegal foreigners, because we don't. They are going home. But I want one question where the lady says, two questions. When the
Jessica.
The lady says, Jessica, yeah, Ms. Jessica says, there's two issues she raised. She raised the issue first of illegal foreigners don't qualify for housing. Of course, they don't qualify. But the Department of Human Settlements and the Hawks are currently investigating the Nigerian syndicates in Cape Town and in Joburg that owns, the one owns 2,500 houses, RDP houses, the other one owns 750 RDP houses. Human Settlements is aware of that matter. They have the names of the Nigerians. But being on the ground, I see our people losing houses. If you go to Watch 54, I think, if you go to Fitas, you will see Nigerians are evicting our people out of state houses. Then I've got a question for her. If you are saying there's no crime, that there's no proof, who has hijacked the buildings in the city of Joburg? Is it South Africans? Thank you.
Lerato, do you want to respond to the allegations he has leveled at you or your party?
No, definitely. You know, I'm always one person who wants to deal with people after I have experienced them. And I've heard that Gayton is a chauvinist. I never took it, but I know now that he is. The idea that you want to juniorize me because Mashaba is not here is actually very sad. You know, you should be able to deal with any person who comes in front of you, irrespective of their rank. And the fact that you want to bring about the fact that, you know, there's no Mashaba here and there's me. I am the national spokesperson of Action SA. I have every right to be here, irrespective of who's debating the issues. And so I resent your juniorization of me as an intellectual and as a person who has thought and as a person who's independent and who can articulate the issues that are at hand. So secondly, we're talking about, you know, the idea of the illegal immigration. You know, with regards to the advocate, I sincerely respect the advocate, and I think that what he's saying is plausible. But, you know, as much as he is wanting to say that, you know, Jessica is on the wrong platform to deal with the issues that she's trying to deal with, you know, we were invited to this platform to talk about illegal immigration. And perhaps, you know, even the invitation on his side should not have been agreed to because, you know, that you should blame Ntate Vuyo Mvoko because he invited us here to talk about illegal immigration and how it affects local government. And, you know, in terms of I think that, you know, the issues of, in terms of where Action SA stands on the issue of illegal immigration, I think those have been ventilated quite extensively in the public domain. But I just want to leave the public with this. Number one, when Gayton talks about the fact that we stole their logo, I think he's confusing himself with the Party of Action, unless that he is the sponsor of the Party of Action, because that's who we went to the IEC with. That's who came up and said that we were, their logo was our logo and so on. And so if he's got any other documentation, I don't know, perhaps he's the sponsor of POA. The color green, you know, nobody owns the color green. You don't own the color green. You know, COPE has got the color yellow. All political parties, these are the colors of our flag as a nation. And so to say that you are being copied is actually very sad because here you go now. And you're talking about illegal immigration as if you started talking about it originally. And when he talks about the fact that he's got a constituency, I'm not sure what constituency he's talking about because by and large, I have seen the POA, not the POA, but the Patriotic Alliance in particular communities and not others. And so I'm going to leave it there because, you know, we're here to talk about what really affects South Africans. What affects South Africans is that we need people who are ethical. We need people who are about their business.
Okay, we've run out of time, Lerato.
The interest of South Africans first.
I've got to stop you.
And not the interest of smaller groups.
Okay, I've got to stop you there. Unfortunately, we have indeed run out of time. I wanted to read some tweets as well. Johan Robin saying, it's too late to reverse the situation. Illegal foreigners are integrated into the spiral of corruption. Illegal foreigners is a local government issue and not an academic issue. I wish I could read more of those tweets indeed, but unfortunately we have run out of time. That's where we're going to leave it for tonight. Do join us again tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock sharp. Have a good night.